At the beginning of time, the ideal way to obtain food was in the form of hunting and gathering, where humans moved with the food source and lived off of what the environment held at the moment in time.
This changed when the first form of agriculture was invented. This allowed for humans to settle in an ideal location and not have to move their life every time food sources got low. This method evolved into agriculture as we know it today.
The primary production of crops in agriculture in certain areas was wet rice production in Asia, wheat farming in Europe, and cattle ranching in the Americas.
But agriculture today is very distinctly different in developing versus developed countries.
Developing countries consist of subsistence agriculture.
Shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn agriculture, which was used in tropical regions like Latin America and sub-Saharan Africa.
The modern way of farming in developing countries is called plantation farming. This form of agriculture can produce much more than subsistence farming can.
When regions started to further develop, the countries began to use machinery. This made it easier for farmers to farm larger amounts of food with less labor.
Developed countries consist of many forms of commercial and industrial agriculture.
Dairy farming is a large production of dairy in developed countries, aside from India, an example of industrial agriculture.
A large production of agriculture is part of the agribusiness, where majority of crops and cultivation is sent to a second party to be used and made into other foods.
Agriculture is distributed differently all across the globe. This leads to different crops and plants that are produced according to the resources, climate, and other environmental factors.
The cultivation correlates with the condition of the land being adequate to the type of farming in that specific region.
This can be seen with the diversity of foods that are eaten all around the world.
For a sustainable planet, a combination of many types of agriculture practices are required to ensure consistency.
Cutting back on forms of industrial agriculture can help to contribute to a sustainable planet in the long run.
This means cutting back on expanding large commercial farms to prevent over-farming of land. Over-farming of land can have negative impacts on the environment.
Farmers should put sustainable efforts into the cultivation by cutting down on the use of certain fertilizers, antibiotics, pesticides, hormones, GMOs, and other agents used to increase production.
With the usage of these kinds of things, other areas can be ruined, affecting the ecosystems nearby like streams, lakes, and contaminate other fresh water for humans.
Methods such as crop rotation and cover cropping can help to prevent exhaustion of the soil and environment.
This will benefit the environment and still provide enough resources and food for the population without harming the landscape. These steps will benefit us in the long term and allow the environment to be viable for longer, as well as solve many food production controversies and problems.
Beginning of time going into agriculture as we know it today.
Essential questions.
What? Bloopers. Bloopers? What is this?
Oh my god!